Welcome to the Holiday and Cruise Business News. We're in Malta. Welcome to Unravel Travel, Holiday and Cruise News. In this programme, we highlight the latest developments in the cruise and aviation industries. We visit Oman and find out why it is becoming a popular place to visit, why Malta is a growing wedding destination, and take a look at how London is gearing up for the Olympics. Celebrity Cruises is underlying its commitment to the UK with the introduction of a second ship, Celebrity Infinity, for summer 2013. This 2,100 passenger ship will be based in Harwich from April to November and will operate a full season of 10, 11 and 12 night Northern European, Baltic and Iceland cruises. Celebrity Eclipse will continue to offer its programmes out of Southampton during this year. Carnival Legend, which was named by Dame Judi Dench, returns to British waters in 2013. The 2,600 passenger ship includes additional facilities such as a 2 new kids club for older children and a Serenity adult-only area. Fred Olsen Cruise Lines has introduced a new programme of fly cruise holidays for next winter and late 2013 and early 2014. With departures from Tenerife to the Canaries, North Africa and Cape Verde, and flights from Gatwick and Manchester. Liverpool will be welcoming back Fred Olsen Cruise Lines in spring and summer of 2013. The line's Boudica is making a return with 10 cruises with a variety of exciting itineraries, heading south to the Sun and north to Norway and the Baltic between April and August 2013. They will be adding Harwich and Belfast to its 2013 sailings. Sapphire Princess has emerged from a 3-week refurbishment with new features which include a piazza atrium with cafe and wine bar and an Alfredo pizzeria. The 3,600 passenger Royal Princess is the first of 2 new generation ships for Princess Cruises and will be the largest in the fleet when it enters service next summer. Amongst many features, it will include an adult-only swimming pool surrounded by 7 private cabanas, 2 additional pools, a water and light show and outdoor movies under the stars film screen. With the debut of its new luxury cruise ship Riviera in May 2012, Oceania Cruises is expanding and enhancing its culinary enrichment programme with the introduction of culinary discovery tours to more than 25 ports worldwide. Uniquely designed for each port, the new tours provide guests with the opportunity to explore local food markets in small groups alongside an expert chef. Oceania Cruises Culinary Discovery Tours will launch this spring in Europe aboard the 1,250 guest luxury cruise ships Riviera and Marina and can be booked prior to departure. The programme will roll out in Asia, South America and the Caribbean in winter 2012 and 13. Malta enjoyed a record 2011, attracting more than 1.4 million tourists for the first time, with 75,300 tourists last year, resulting in a 25.6% increase over the past 5 years. Valletta, the capital, was originally built by the Order of St. John with its old-world splendour and Baroque architecture, which today stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was also one of the first cities in Europe to use the grid system. There are so many interesting and historical places to see in the city. This is St. John's Co-Cathedral, built around 1574 and houses 2 of Caravaggio's paintings. From here, the tour proceeds to the ancient church of St. Paul's Shipwreck, which features the treasured relic of the right wrist bone of St. Paul in a gilded cask. Also displayed is the pillar, part of the original column on which St. Paul was beheaded in Rome, and which was donated by the Pope in 1818. The Upper Baracca Gardens offers fantastic views over to the three cities and across one of the world's largest and deepest natural harbours, the Grand Harbour. If you visit at noon, you can witness an age-old tradition of the firing of the cannon, which takes place each day. This area is also a ceremonial platform for artillery salutes.
Time, gun, fire!
Around 8 kilometres from Valletta is Mdina, which used to be the capital of Malta. This is the Cathedral of St. Paul, which lies in the very heart of this walled city. Mdina is the oldest city on the island, going back to prehistoric times, and a must-see for any visit to Malta. Being just a short hop away by ferry or seaplane, Gozo is Malta's little sister, making an ideal day out or a longer stay on the island. Known as the Island of Joy, there are vineyards, temples older than the pyramids, and quaint, peaceful Gozitan villages which define the character of the island. Malta is an ideal wedding and honeymoon destination too, whether it's a civil or church wedding, a vow, renewal or a blessing. With its all-year-round sunny climate, historical backdrop and culture, there are a host of venues for the occasion. The Phoenicia Hotel is one such example, positioned opposite the entrance to the city of Valletta, offering 7 acres of landscape gardens and overlooked by the 16th century bastions and harbour views.
The Phoenicia was the first luxury hotel to be opened on the island, officially opened in 1947. It was owned by the Strickland family, and they actually managed the hotel for a number of years until 1966. Being the only real 5-star hotel on the island at the time, dignitaries were visiting to see how Malta was faring and whatever. And after that, obviously, it was more on the film industry, for example, with a number of actors at the time, like Roger Moore and Omar Sharif, staying at the hotel while filming on the island. It's also quite unique in terms of location. If you see, the hotel is actually at the city gate of Valletta. Valletta is a unique city. It's small, but it's all walled, bastion walls built by the Knights of St. John in the 17th century. So it's quite unique. Within 5 minutes walk, you're basically into one of the European heritage sites, which is Valletta.
Well, Malta is a unique destination in itself. However, being such a small island, barely 25 kilometers from top to bottom, it can be covered in a short holiday, and there's so many interesting sites to visit. Let's take, for example, the dramatic coastline up to the west side of the island with sheer cliff faces, beautiful scenery, unexplored caves and coves. And also you can enjoy the sunset from over there as well. That's about 6 o'clock in the evening. Beautiful place. Let's not forget the historical aspect of the island. Yeah, I mean, our history goes back to thousands and thousands of years. The 3 main cities to visit historically would be the medieval city of Mdina, which used to be a Roman settlement 2,000 years ago, later on taken by the Arabs. And nowadays a major tourist attraction visited by thousands of people on a daily basis. There's quaint medieval alleyways, 15th, 16th century palaces, and some great views over the east coast of the island as well, yeah? And let's not forget the capital city, Valletta. Valletta takes you back to the era of the Knights of the Order of St. John, with some impressive palaces which used to be the accommodation of the Knights of St. John themselves, overlooking the Grand Harbour, one of the largest natural harbours in the Mediterranean.
If you are looking for a taste of Arabic traditional culture, history and heritage with forts, souks, museums and mosques, Oman is an ideal place to choose. The city of Muscat is Oman's capital, and in its heart is one of Muscat's sacred places, the Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque. This is the Grand Mosque in Muscat. It is one of the largest mosques in the Middle East. It's open to visitors between 8 and 11 every day, except Fridays. Stating its presence with its towering minarets and a shiny marble courtyard reflecting its status. As you enter, the carpet captures your attention. The size of a football pitch, this took 4 years to make in 28 colours from natural herbs. It weighs 21 tonnes, was flown over in 57 pieces by plane from Iran and sewn together by 3 ladies. While shining up above is the chandelier, which has over 1,100 lamps and candles. The old Mutras district houses a souk, full of character and colour, with all the sights and smells that go with the medley of spice and scents in the labyrinth of alleyways into the city. Mutra Souk is one of the oldest markets in Oman, dating back about 200 years. Outside the entrance is the Corniche and Port Sultan Qaboos, overlooked by the mountainous rocky formations. Here, while sipping a cup of Arabic coffee, you can watch the dhows, fishing boats and ships. Oman is fast becoming the most visited Gulf cruise destination with 3 leisure ports. We meet Oman Tourism to find out why.
In 2003, we had around 3,500 passengers coming from the cruise. And at the end of 2011, we had more than 200,000 passengers. That can give you an estimate how this industry is going to grow, and it's going in a better way. And we are not just looking to stop on that. We are looking forward to having more activities, more promotionals, because we believe Oman can offer a lot.
Old Muscat is the old part, and within it is the Royal Alam Palace, 2 forts with the Muscat Gate still standing as the original entrance to the city. The city is surrounded by a wall on its southern and western sides, while the mountains and the Gulf of Oman have remained its natural walls to the north and to the east. Kasab is the main town of the Musandam Peninsula, a remote but dramatic part of Oman, and a popular port for cruises. The small port is a hive of activity, not only with passengers boarding carpet-strewn dhows, but goats being brought to market from the surrounding villages. It is from here that 4-hour dhow cruises venture into the peaceful water inlets in fleets. This tranquil setting is highly recommended, with dolphins quietly dancing above water, teasing spectators as cameras flash and screams of delight echo. Behind me is the village of Kanaha, where just 7 families live for 9 months of the year.
But all the family there, it's all a fisherman. It is sometime in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, is going outside for the fishing to 1 o'clock afternoon. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's have a little break for the lunch and for relax. And after all, it's 2 o'clock, 2:30, we're going outside again for the fishing.
As part of the dhow excursion, a visit to Telegraph Island is always included. It is here that we find Telegraph Island, when in 1864 the cable was laid between London and Bombay, a perfect place where passing ships would never suspect.
It's a dhow cruise, so we start exactly about 9 o'clock in the morning, and we come into see the dolphin, and we pass it for the small fishing village, and afterwards going for the Telegraph Island. I'll be stay for the swim and snorkeling, and after we finish for the Telegraph Island, we'll pass again for the dolphin, and after we're going back again to the harbor.
And now for aviation news. Iceland Express is to fly to Reykjavik from Edinburgh twice a week from the 21st of June on Mondays and Thursdays. EasyJet is to start flying from Luton to Reykjavik 3 times a week, year-round. Hong Kong Airlines has commenced an all-premium service from Gatwick with a daily, non-stop service operated by 3 new A330s with just 116 seats in 2 premium cabins, Club Premier and Club Classic. Jet2 will start flying from Belfast to Faro from May 26, operating once a week on Saturdays. Air Malta has announced it will operate charter flights from 6 regional UK airports this summer. The airline will operate weekly charters from the 1st of May to the 30th of October out of Birmingham, Bristol, Cardiff, Exeter, Newcastle and Norwich airports. The flights are in addition to its scheduled services from Heathrow, Gatwick and Manchester. Malaysian Airlines has revealed the design and specification of its new flagship A380-800, which will be used on the Heathrow to Kuala Lumpur route. The aircraft will enter service 3 times a week on the 1st of July and is the first of 2 which will be operated on the route. Another will be introduced at the end of August this year, with a third to be used on Kuala Lumpur to Sydney flights. The new Airbus displays Malaysia Airlines' new livery with a more contemporary look inside. The A380 has 494 seats in a 3-class configuration with 8 first-class seats and 350 seats in economy class on the first deck. On the upper deck, the aircraft will have 66 business class seats and 70 economy class places. Aer Lingus Regional is to launch flights from Southend to Dublin, offering onward connections to transatlantic services. The new flights to Dublin are being sold to passengers living in Essex and East London, as offering easy access to the US. They will have access to US customs and immigration pre-clearance facilities at Dublin Airport, which means they can avoid queues when they arrive in the States. Southend Airport plans to start work expanding its passenger terminal this year, after signing a 10-year deal with EasyJet.
So we're in London Southend Airport, which is one of EasyJet's newest bases. We're opening up a new base here with 3 aircraft. We'll fly over 500,000 people in their first year of operations. We'll be offering a range of destinations, so we'll be offering cities such as Amsterdam, Barcelona and Belfast, and sun destinations like Faro, Alicante, Palma and Malaga.
There's been around about £100 million of investment that's gone in. New railway station, new terminal course, 500 extra jobs over the coming months as EasyJet starts flying new flights out of here. It's great news for Southend Airport. I think it's also great news for Southend.
I think this new terminal is fantastic. I think it's really been built with passengers in mind and with the easiest customer experience that you can find. You get through very quickly, you don't have to queue for more than 4 minutes in security, and you can actually be in the train station airside to landside in about 15 minutes max. That's a fantastic passenger experience.
We've got a new air traffic control tower which went in. We've got a new railway station which connects us into London in no time, and also Stratford where the summer games are being held.
It is the Olympics airport, if you like. So we will be bringing passengers in specifically for the Olympics, I'm sure. And actually, equivalently, we'll be taking quite a lot of people out, because our research says that as many people escape the Olympics as come in for the Olympics.
You've got a direct train right into the heart of London. It stops at Stratford on its way into London. So from getting people in and out of London Southend is one of the best airports we have.
We've chosen to link up with Southend in this way because it's just been a great opportunity for us. It allows us to do lots of interesting things because actually there's a new approach in this airport, and we were just excited by it. It's also, of course, much cheaper flying out of Southend than it is going from any of the other London airports.
It's giving passengers another option in London, another airport to use, somewhere that's going to be perhaps a lot closer to their home than it has been in the past. But it's also about changing the travel experience and offering passengers something different. So about making travel easy, getting them through the experience really easily, and offering something very different in that sense as well.
Whichever city in Britain any of us visit as tourists, its heritage is always part of its attraction. London is a city where Shakespeare wrote and performed, where monarchs have ruled and from where empires have been run. And London will soon be the only city to have hosted 3 Olympic Games. And 2012 is Queen Elizabeth II's 60th year on the throne. The homes the British monarchs still occupy in the capital and elsewhere will no doubt be huge attractions throughout the Games. And 1 or 2 of them will even get a starring role. Just 10 miles west of Buckingham Palace is Hampton Court, which was seized by Henry VIII from Cardinal Wolsey in 1529. Here will be the start and finish point in the men's and women's cycle time trials. There's one royal attraction that's been entertaining guests for nearly 1,000 years, and its distinctive band of guards are ready to welcome more this year.
Beef was not a common meat in the 13th and 14th centuries. People living outside of the Tower of London were very jealous of those living in, because the meat at the banqueting table would then be distributed to the families living here inside of the tower. So the name Beefeater is really that name that was given to the body of yeoman warders in jealousy.
Travel eastwards down the Thames and you'll find Greenwich. Henry VIII was born here, and soon it became a royal sporting playground.
500 years ago, when Greenwich Palace stood on this site, which was one of Henry VIII's favourite palaces, among many sports that he played here at the palace was jousting, and he built his own tilt yard over towards where the park is now. So it's really, really appropriate the equestrian games are going to be happening here in Greenwich Park.
But nearly 150 years after Henry's death, his old palace became the site for something even grander, the Old Royal Navy College, and the perfect place to announce Team GB's sailing squad.
There's been so many great sailors over the years learning their trade here. Knowing that history and knowing the pressure that's upon us, it was quite a special day. I'm going to find that so great to have my foreign competitors that I've raced against for years being here and realising how much the public are enjoying this Olympics. That party atmosphere is going to be fantastic.
Christopher Wren's Naval College now sits happily amongst more recent architecture, a pattern visible across London and clearly visible from the Heron Tower.
London isn't like any other city, actually. It's a composite city. It's a city that comes out of many, many influences, and partly that's because it was always a global trading place, and so styles and influences and technologies have come here from all over the world.
For the engineers and architects involved in 2012, the challenge has been to create buildings that transcend their function.
In doing the velodrome, what we were trying to do was honestly contain the function of cycling. We've pulled the surface of the building so that it literally just contains it. We've used materials like timber all over the building because they're the materials we want to use today, and lightweight steel to make a very, very light roof. That building is a form follows function building, but it's of now. It's of London in the 21st century.
If architecture can sometimes become great art, one man's mission is to find more of it amongst the rubble and mud of the Olympic site.
When I was commissioned by the ODA to be their artist in residence, my remit, I guess, was to make what was happening on the park visible to a wider audience of it. It was trying to kind of tell something of the story of the people who were working on the park.
Captured a new chapter in London's life, and as millions of visitors prepare to descend on the city this summer, each of them will be adding to the cultural, historical and sporting heritage of this great place.